These are the plaintiffs, Mary Sue and Joe Hernandez. Mary Sue says they hired the defendant to install concrete pavers on their property, and almost immediately there was a problem with the grout cracking between the tiles. The defendant said he'd fix the cracks and then went MIA, and no one goes MIA on them without consequences. They're suing for $3,000, the amount they're due. This is the defendant, William Leantonio. He says he made it clear no one was to walk on the pavers for 24 hours after he completed the job. And wouldn't you know it, the plaintiffs did exactly that. They broke the bond between the tiles. He fixed them 3 times, but enough is enough. He's accused of cracking up a customer.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiffs say they made a huge mistake hiring the defendant because he ruined their patio. But the defendant says he told the plaintiffs not to walk on the patio for 24 hours after he completed the job. They didn't listen, and now they're here in court. It's the case of cracking up a customer.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. and Mrs. Hernandez, you were doing some home renovations, and you hired the defendant to do what?
To put pavers on the side of the house and by the deck. And the problem is really the side, the whole side of the house. That's where the problem is.
Well, let me ask you a few questions. So he was going to put in, these were brand new pavers?
Correct.
And then where did you get the pavers? From him, or did you already have the pavers?
He got them.
Okay. Now, how much for the entire job?
Well, it was close to $10,000.
Okay. So, and what is your complaint?
Well, like I submitted it, the evidence of the pictures of all the pavers on the side. They're all messed up, discoloring, cracks everywhere. And I have called him and sent texts. So finally, on the 27th of October, he called me and he goes, I'm a little busy, but maybe in a week or 2, I'll be able to come by. And then he put an excuse that he didn't really want to fix them because he had a problem with my husband, and that's the reason he didn't come. So he told me, call me in a week or 2. I did call him, left him several messages, never responded. Finally, on December the 21st, he called me and said, I lost 26 pounds. I'm going to have to check myself in the hospital. That was the last I heard from him.
Okay. Now, you did submit pictures, and I'd like to look at the pictures. So tell me what you want me to focus on in this picture. The grout that's kind of, I don't know what's going on here. Is it missing, I guess, or uneven? And
it's both. Uneven, and it's holes everywhere. Everything came out. It's sand everywhere. He didn't seal the side where the entrance door is. Everything looks so messy. It's so sad.
And in the back, this isn't happening?
No. This is just the side. The back, he did it himself with another gentleman. He had other guys do the side that they were not professionals. And then he came back one day after he finished the job, put new sealer on, and he just came right out. That's how the whole side of the house looks. The whole entire area. See, that's the entrance.
Okay, what's going on, Mr. Leantonio? Why is this? Why is there such a problem on the side? Because apparently the back is perfect. So there's something wrong on this side. You know, it's discolored. The sand's coming up. The grout looks awful. I mean, look at that. So what's going on?
What's going on there is that their hose bib was leaking, and I explained that to them. The water was dripping out. When they turned the hose on, water was leaking out over it. I told them for 24 hours you cannot go on it because it's an epoxy type sand that sets up. And as I said, she was walking on it, watering the grass. When that thing, you break the bond, and that's what happens. As far as that dark gray that's dampness. Apparently she wet it down and it's still damp. That's
I don't think she's complaining about the dark gray. We all know that's just dampness in the moment. She's complaining about the beiges that are coming out, which are completely separate from the dampness. And she's complaining about how the grout looks. Now, in your answer to the complaint, you said she walked all over it, she walked all over it, she walked all over it. You have never once before said anything about a hose bib. When did you come up with that? Because it's not in your answer to the complaint.
It should have been. I explained that because it was leaking. And she knows it does.
So how did she walk all over it and ruin it? Because it is a consistent problem only on the side of the house and not in the back. Is it accurate that you are not the one who laid these, that you delegated that?
No, I was there. I was there and I was working with them. And the fellows that did put those pavers down, that's all they do. And that's the side of the house. She has a side entrance there. And right on the side entrance is that hose bib. That's where the hose is. And that's where the leak was coming from.
Do you have any evidence of what you're saying? Because if your defense is, it's not my workmanship, it's a leak in her house, do you have proof that it's a hose bib?
Let me see.
Also, for that matter, do you have proof that she walked all over it in the first 24 hours?
You could ask her that. She was on it.
Yeah, I will. Watch this. Did you walk all over the side in the first 24 hours?
Well, first of all, when they finished doing this job, it started pouring outside. So how can I be walking outside? And they finished, it gets dark.
Is that a yes or a no? Were you walking outside Did you do salsa all over the side of the thing from the top to the back? Okay, so that didn't work very well.
I went there 3 times and I took care of those spots that you see now. And then what happened after the 3rd time, which is an hour trip up there, I brought one of the fellows that I use. He's a specialist. And he came there and she said all she needed was a couple of spots taken care of and around a pipe. And also she wanted to paint some concrete in the front. So we did that. She was well satisfied. She was happy. I called her husband. I said, talk to your wife. She's satisfied. When she was satisfied, we left. 2 or 3 weeks later, she called me up and complained again. And that was the problem. At that point, I was very busy. I couldn't get up there. Then it was my birthday, on October 27th, when she called me. I told her it was my birthday. She knows that. Then the next time she called, I was in the hospital.
Okay. However, she has a problem. She has proof of the problem, and you do not have proof that the problem is her fault. Okay? And you have to stand by your work. You can't say, it's a really long way away, and I got sick. Well, you keep agreeing, but you haven't gone back there. You lost touch with them, which is why they sued you. You know?
Well, I went up there 3 times.
It's a problem. Now, Ms. Hernandez, did you end up getting an estimate for what it would cost to have someone else come in and fix it? Because just like you've lost faith, I've kind of lost faith. So what will it cost for someone else to come in and fix it?
Well, somebody gave us a verbal agreement for the driveway and the side. He said, I have to rip them all out and start from the beginning. And he told us it was going to be a rough estimate, about $3,500. Because he has to.
Do you have that in writing for me?
No.
Well, you're supposed to. This is the trial.
I know, but I didn't know
You need to have, in other words, lady, listen, your damages here are what it's going to cost you to make it right. So just like I looked at him and said, prove it's her fault because she walked all over them for a year, I'm looking at you and saying, prove that it's going to cost X to fix it. You need to have proof of what it's going to cost to fix it. Because I agree with you, these need to get fixed. But how do you come to court today without a single written estimate of what it costs to fix it?
Well, I told my husband to get it in writing, and he didn't. But we didn't, the guys...
Husband, let's hear from you. You're awful silent. And I saw her hit you at one point earlier today because you're getting on her nerves, husband. Why didn't you get in writing an estimate for what it would cost to fix it?
Oh, that was my error. Should have got it in writing.
Oh, you think? Yeah.
No, I should have.
Yeah, I know.
But, Your Honor, one more other thing that I wasn't in the complaint that I just want to bring to the attention that the pavers that they were installed were not the correct pavers. Originally, he was supposed to install Cambridge pavers, and I asked him and I requested that when my wife started complaining to send me a copy of the invoice where he brought the pavers, because the pavers were not the pavers that we originally asked him to install. That's the reason why we're having problems with these pavers. That's why they're fading away. And,
Okay, can I ask you something? What's your response to that, Mr. Leantonio?
They are Cambridge pavers, and I couldn't find the bill, but I could give them call the place up. I'm serious. They're Cambridge pavers. I mean, I've been in business since 74.
Well, I'm sorry, you're being sued, and you're not just being sued, you're being sued on the People's Court. And you couldn't bother to find the proof that they're Cambridge pavers? You didn't even respond to them until they send you that certified letter.
Well, they're Cambridge
I'm ruling
pavers.
In favor of the plaintiff in the amount of $3,000. That's my judgment.
So, Mr. Leantonio, what do you think about that? You got to give all that money back. How about it?
Yeah, I should have looked for the receipt. It's Cambridge pavers.
Yeah.
I would never cheat anybody, ever. And I've been in business since 74. I never had a problem. So it's one of those things.
Well, you got a problem this time, and with this couple.
Yep.
Yeah. Let me talk to Ms. Hernandez. Folks, you're going to get your money back, so you're going to do all right. You're coming out with what you wanted. So congratulations from that point of view.
Thank you. I'm happy.
Okay, don't hit your husband again now. All right, let's see what the judges have to say now. Time for another edition of After the Verdict. Here they are.
These kind of interlocking pavers, we had them at a house that we used to have years ago, and I remember pressure washing them, and I pressure cleaned them a few times, and that sand would go everywhere. But now they've come up with this stuff that the defendant was talking about called polymeric sand or something that I guess is like a mortar. But the bottom line is the pavers on that side of the house, they didn't look right. They didn't look good.
No.
Right?
I thought it was pretty informative that the back ones are perfect and he's the one who laid the back ones.
Right. How about that?
I think he just subbed that out to somebody or...
Apparently he's a craftsman with that stuff.
Yeah, but you also have to be a businessman and you can't take money for doing something that wasn't done right.
No.
And then say, you know what, you lived too far, I'm not going to keep repairing it. No, you shouldn't have to keep repairing it because it should have been done right the first time for 10 grand,
Well, if you want something done right...
Yeah, we can't do it. We don't have that skill,
Harold wants to know this. Hey, Harvey, how do you get a felony off your record that happened 54 years ago? Well, you can petition the court to expunge that. And expungement really varies from state to state. But the idea is that after a certain period of time, especially if you haven't broken any additional laws, you can petition the court to expunge it from your record. If you want to go online, you can look and see how you do it. Or you may hire a lawyer who can probably do it with greater ease.